OKFM 101.7.
Edudzi Tamakloe eye mrenimuni woye MP boss na ye ne twetwe enkomo law me moache
Bra kwame anopai mechiawo echiefo ene menua ba wo studio ho anopai no able producer na menua Isaac mechiawo munyina anopai
na won pomu tisɛn
Bra kwame onyankopɔn adom ye ho ye
enkomo a abeto dwa dodo no edibie ene ye pese ye giu legal thoughts on that sir nipa be miensa a petition the president sir in respect of the removal of the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. One also is a kind of what chile at the Akoma Council of State. Say one so and one sem and so now we Council of State dia or mobile chile at the Koma Enwa. Mamma so and now the Krataba Bonting say all the uttering pattern rule no and say Yajuma. Send a second copy or demand a copy of the petition. Na se be a responses bi or the ama e bi no se da bi constitution no anka saa se manpanisa kan wo mo akire mfama dipa asem no fa ne ho no na emum wo se wo mfama council of state and obi say the constitution must not be read in only the letter only but with the letter and the spirit en komo yi eto say
yo bra kwame ba cho wo mre kakra de
kakra mo mre kakra.
And then see a bit of constitutional law. Welcome you. Said you. The course of Ghana here. Said you a DSC that. Okay. In the 1970s to 80s on. Now, Yabenya a new constitution. It's a new constitution now, you know. Now at that time, not the highest court of the land, a court of appeal. It's a constitution by you know, it creates a new Supreme Court. Now the head of the court of appeal at that time, as no Osei CJ at that time, a Chief Justice Apalu. But what we did that?
Justice Apalu, yeah.
Fantastic.
There was even a commission be na or chair.
Aha. No, it's a mana and Kroma, you two and Kroma. Almost the new military regime led by an account almost set up different commissions of inquiry. Into the Chief Justice Apalu in the two so but that I know a high court judge.
You benya the Apalu commission.
It will make several findings against appointees of Osei for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Now, we will get back to that conversation soon. In the new constitution, no, Ebaya, no. Omampenia Obaya, Eye Lima, I can say, since there was new constitution, our constitution as a Supreme Court, no. The head of the judiciary then, Eye Apaluno, said we should go back through the process again to now become the Chief Justice under the new constitution. But what are they? In the Sana Montuno Ebayeno. Now, I say part of the appointment process makes sense. The Chief Justice must go to Parliament for vetting. Now, just at time Liman address, now Liman for no, and I war majority in Parliament.
Yes.
In the Chief Justice Apalu essence is CPP for now, Omaba back no, as Liman and Crow for no. So process no, so may come back to Parliament. Or may you see a majority in Parliament, to me. But what are they?
Yes.
That time, no, there was a young man, now or a lecturer, that was KNUST. Your friend, Dr. Mwakutufu.
Oh, I want any baby.
May he so rest in peace.
Yeah.
In the Dr. Mwakutufu, yes, so that be into your courts, into your courts, Echo Council. Since Apalu Chief Justice Bedano under the Court of Appeal, no. Now that we have the Supreme Court, no, he's deemed to be the Chief Justice relative to the new constitutional arrangement. But your court na Supreme Court, then court no can say your constitution is a living organism. A idea it's near then a two-pong economy. The issues about the justices, no, and yet them kwana release ahead abba. In fact, the politics of the day then was that the CPP elements are now they are back as Liman for no. It was a platform to deal with Chief Justice Apalu for the role he played in the commissions of inquiry. But that's just the politics of it. Fast forward, there was also another Chief Justice, Aban. Okay.
Justice Aban, Justice Aban.
Yes, and also a betrayal move. Now, the most recent, Rapami, Chief Justice Aqua. Now, the Aquaba and said, Papa B or Mamuha, very celebrated lawyer, your friend of Bright Equity. Now, or the petition, Eba, say, ye Chief Justice Aqua. Petition now, or the comma or Mampini Kufono. The next time, now it was on the front page of some newspaper. All the allegations in the petition, none of that newspaper, no any. It's a blank baby, a friend of Frank Ajay Chum. But it's
Mr. Frank Ajay Chum, they are not war multimedia.
Oh, dear later.
Marty.
That blank baby, a friend of Frank Ajay Chum, Echo Supreme Court. Say, Ghana, and now Yedibu Maya, a 1992 constitution, no. I have a provision here, Article 146, and I deal with the issues on petitions, removal of superior court judges. That provision now applies to the commission, the chairpersons or commissioners of the Electoral Commission, boss.
Okay.
It applies to the Auditor General. It applies to the Electoral Commission chair. It applies to NCC, independent constitutional bodies. No? Okay. That same provision applies. So, the removal process for the justices of the Superior Court, no, the same process you use it if you want to remove EC chair and the rest. That's what I mean. Now, and what Frank against you ready as a new coin, you know, and I say, Constitution is say the process for the removal of Chief Justice, no, it must be done in camera. From the Latin word in camera simply means in chambers, hidden, secret. So newspapers now are publishing the details of the petition. No, it makes it unconstitutional. But that's it. Two, I must say, now what kind of constitution now? The provision for the removal of superior court judges, no, it doesn't appear the same way as that of the Chief that stands alone. His Lordship Justice Databa was a panel, no, so I can say, since the Chief Justice is first a justice of the Superior Court, and then later as a Chief Justice by the administrative board and the head of the judiciary, no. The Superior Court judges, no. They apply the same thing to the Chief Justice. Perfect. In Georgia, Frank Ajay Chum, Chief now or the Supreme Court, no. Said you. Eventually, the Supreme Court dismissed the application. And the Chief Justice Aqua, the process for his removal, no, and and that is what brought an Aqua, may he so rest in peace, that right acquitted. Now something significant happened. And now case nearby, you know. So, or your chief justice, it was not a so and panel, and you understand.
I one is so in panel.
I acquitted that the Minoya case where a power. It's not you. It is a whole couple and panel to hear what you are saying. A petition or an issue that matters or borders involves you are likely to put your favorite. In a Supreme Court say, right, yes, well, we see a very interesting issue. But you know, and you're again, because the Chief Justice has statutory and constitutional duty to perform. And so the issue of Nemo Judes under President Mahama. And I think Richard Nyama was the petitioner. So a year then, a year home. And so then we move to the next step, Madame Charlotte Osei. And that's very interesting. Okay. Very, very, very interesting. Well, and now, Charlotte Osei as a mobile. Again, like I told you, the Article 146 provisions, no, it applies to candidates. That's by necessary modifications, no. It applies to the electoral commissioners as well. You see, the one petition here then a buyer. But in the case of those people, no, Chief Justice is involved or play a critical role in some determination. And now, when you buy it, Madame Charlotte said, "Oh, Oman Teddy, try and develop and make a determination whether a prima facie case has been made about me." You know the special relationship that exists between President Akufo-Addo and Madame Charlotte Osei. They have been friends since the 1990s. In fact, Charlotte Osei graduation, the LLM graduation in Canada, Nanado was there.
Oh, wow.
For the graduation. Yeah, yes. You know, well, like they say, politics is a complex business.
No, just why not down for pa.
So, Otun Foyeri, Madame Lady Juliet, Charlotte Osei, Omuna mates in the law school. So they have been very close friends.
Wow.
Incidentally, including the law for the petitioners, Masolo Pokwadima. Masolo Okradie, Charlotte is like my sister. Toto. But eventually, he became the lawyer for the petitioners who got her removed. Yes, Dosu, they bring Brakwame.
Dosu.
Yes, so Onama, not Washon. A man's enemy may come from his own family.
Nipa tamfuni ni fearful.
Brakwame.
Messi the pattern for any fearful. Now, what the baby out there bedree will be Musasa will not be shrouded in procedural impropriety. Some me a petition exiameno. Me nya anu ye be any. No, hold on, Black step by step. Which one say I'll be jump step. Don't say and Charlotte say we may buy. Now not be down to a Kufado, Ghana man penny. In fact, at that time, almost said the president was just a conveyor belt. Okay. And I just a conduit.
He's just a conduit. Where you say the right word? Okay. He's just a pipeline. And now, Madame Charlotte said, "Can you?" And Chokoma, the lawyer, said, "You're sorry, and then he can't." Chokoma, Chief Justice then said, "Mammy, you say, make it a prima facie determination." That prima facie determination Mamin can be big a crowd honor na Febio. Manu ye crowded Nama will say a prima facie case has not been made. But what that here?
It's your power.
It's, at that point, you didn't see the necessity of forming even a committee. When you respond to Eugene Edemano.
Okay, I say.
Welcome, our Ghana web. I'm no can say. Eugene responded to Yamame Charlotte say, hey, yes, like I always say, tomorrow is pregnant. This was the response of Yaminia Eugene. I just want to quote the portion as reported by Ghana web. That's about it.
Mbajo kotu.
They can it out that portion. Now this is what Eugene said. Quote, it's quite curious. It is quite curious. But whatever be the case, we certainly will be a wrong forum for the lawyers to be looking for copies of the petition. These are lawyers of Charlotte who wrote to the presidency here. Omampeni unsaka petition. Intimate father. Send me copies of the petition. Nanka, Saudi Akoma Chief Justice. He said, it is curious. But whatever be the case, we certainly will be a wrong forum for the lawyers to be looking for copies of the petition. Now he continues. Whatever be the case, if you are looking for copies of the petition, they are no longer with us. They are with the Chief Justice. She will even found it wise to set up a committee. So I believe the best place to get a copy of the petition is from the Chief Justice. Unquote.
Wow.
With Nahi response to Charlotte Osei. Hey! You knew search now and never back. Mumayanke bibi yo. Mumayanke bibi.
Because the enemy man can say, Bible be the meaning, Acts of the Apostles chapter 26. Now I'm the Paul Akojina Agrippa in him.
Now, Agrippa cried here. Eventually, you can see on your who appeal. On your who appeal. You know how cry.
Oh, okay.
But what you say?
Me too, pa.
You know how cry. But you know how. You deny in response to Madame Charlotte Osei said, it is curious, classic Obama presidency said, you want a copy of the petition for your removal. Now, only the or can be so. Okay. Chief Justice Better Committee comprising 3 Supreme Court judges and 2 civilians. That's non-judges. What are they? And that your constitutional right to be heard, that is the forum for that. Hey, how soon do we forget? At that time, Anyoma when you are consumer, not the lawyer for Asofua, Godfrey Diego Adami, not a deputy attorney general.
Annie.
How soon do we forget ourselves? Or, you see, that's what I say. There is a different set of laws for MPP members and another set of laws for other Ghanaians. How? Look, Mekai, and no Saboro said, may removal issues no buy. Midna baby Eka one day say, the knowledge I have which is the personal and unique relationship between Madame Charlotte Osei and Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. I would plead that the president exercise a lot of caution. I remember those days, my MPP friends telling me, oh, Yauntuano. Yakasi Yebeyino, Yebeyino. I say, hey, we need to be careful because we may end up setting a precedent that may harm other people in future. And so, no. And so, eventually, no, in say, your mommy, Charlotte Osei, was removed. Yeah. Now, only be a course. But I know you said that I am a bar, I can't do it. Oh, ye of one star. Not while wife a star from San Ayadin. Into the kai, my colleague MPP lawyer, you can't show me that. Look, you see, and one now, okay, react to. But for the any one sentence. Subsequently, the conversation said President Nkrumah was not happy with judgment that came from the court. So you Adamasi into a Manini Chief Justice at that time. So and now year 1992 Constitution, you can say, let us insulate the judges, protect them, so that the unique role of play, that is, being a check on both the legislature and the executive. They can stand firm and do their work. You see, the law for the removal of Superior Court judges is the same law for the removal of the Chief Justice. So the famous law said we needed to get to the point where a Chief Justice or any Duma will do it fearlessly, without fear or favor. It will protect you. So I thought there, for the first time, or maybe second or third, we've gotten a president who is also a lawyer. May give effect to this constitutional insulation. None they didn't care. I mean, sometimes I sit down quietly and say, look, President Akufo-Addo got a glorious opportunity. One, he was a person, I said, you not a near seat. He got to the presidency at a very advanced age, 72 or 70. And such a person, he had very little, but to do it for a good name. Into protecting this independent constitutional body. Sometimes I feel President Akufo-Addo's advisors failed him. His executive assistant was a lawyer. He had an attorney general, Madame Gloria Kufu. He failed the man. Or either he was not listening to them. They simply just failed him. Look, and a course, so just even look at the removal of Domelevo. Just look at it. President Akufo-Addo became impulsive. I felt to say it was a glorious opportunity. President Akufo-Addo to him said, look, when it comes to the removal of such people, it will not bring on frivolity. The grounds must be so watertight that no air can even pass through. But unfortunately again, the circumstance under which Madame Charlotte Osei was removed. said you one more chrono. When you hear, there's a procurement breaches. Therefore, meanwhile, the Public Procurement Act has a provision on ratification. You can't say to ratify the deal. Now, I just say, why are they not the but what you are coming to say, that you man can say, we now approve and my but my ain't no man no point not to ratify. It's in the Public Procurement Act. It's in the proper more and the proper more. Said. Say, your mom is a lot of say, you make it finding say, with the public money. But not the only grounds you say, why you procurement without approval from the Public Procurement Authority. Nanka, and the opportunity will be given her so that the PPA will investigate whatever the issues under Section 80 up to 90 provisions. Nanka, the PPA can ratify it. So we open the Pandora box. That constitutional installation now, the independent constitutional bodies, no, that one, the bill. Now, said you, Mr. Vincent Asefua, in a issue a race. And if you decide, say, Osei, relief one. Say, Omampeni, President John Dramani Mahama, and notify Yemame answer or the command Council of States, no. But it's you know. Or the command Council of States, no. Was violating the 1992 Constitution. How? First of all, how did you know, say, she was not notified? Now, curiously, the issue narrates on 27th. The same 27th, my Chief Justice actual letter, I command to me for copy. Curious? Now, said. The issue of the removal of Mami Charlotte Osei, once again, and now a buyer, no, or Prata Coma, or Mampeni Classic, Mampeni, Mr. Who, Mami who crying, Yanka, Makamu be me, and Saudi Petition Coma Chief Justice. I've read the Ghana Web Report, the quotation, 18 years before. No one can say. There is no such requirement or legal duty placed on the president. Now, the Chief Justice is setting a committee in here. You will have the opportunity to defend yourself before the committee. So, lo and behold, okay, Chief Justice then set up the committee comprising His Lordship Justice Benny, Justice Bafesa, may he say rest in peace, Justice Edudzi. So one Supreme Court judge, two Court of Appeal judges. At that time, not Justice Bafesa, any Edudzi, they were Court of Appeal judges. And now, one Abrampa, then another woman, 5. So Charlotte Osei, and then the lawyer 4. Appeared before this committee and put up their responses, natural justice. How can that suddenly Godfrey Yebu Adami no yet Deputy Attorney General and not standing for now air caution? Suddenly says that no, President Mahama, you have to notify your mommy. How? How?
Eti enkopim brebe na maame ne behunu bone awaye.
But I say
enkopim brebe na maame ne behunu bone awaye.
Enti na constitution is say, Omampeni, and for another class, on the he just a conveyor belt, he just a conduit. Right. Omampeni receive the idea, no. And you see, no coming. There are issues of integrity involved in this matter. Why do I say so? Omampeni was receiving the raw petition. You need to protect it. You need to guide it. The secrecy of it. Because if it turns out, say, allegation in your true, why then? What defaming the panel? It's who say, yeah. My Lord Justice Bennett, I'm not Tiger Eye Pia. Okay, Tiger Eye.
Tiger Eye, Anna Sarimi Yanas.
Anna, any report never judge for no buy, you know. Okay, Anna, maybe ni win or the bar, or yet the friend of premiering. Okay.
Now, my Mr. question, Sabrina no cash a lot of send me at the idea. And then lawyers no and sue to injunct the process.
When you will be
there be
when you have a part of Kubako. Kubako go Supreme Court. Not the lawyer needs something like the enemy. But that day now was in court. No, so procurement breaches, blah blah. Those things are not blah 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 blah. The kind justice Menamagache, Ebisa something like this. Something are you saying that a person who has been found to have breached the Procurement Act is not stated misbehavior? Wow. I was in court that day. I only said, wow, what a precedent. What a precedent. And that is how our Kukubaku exits now on the call. Supreme Court, that is how it ended. You see? Women should be you. Are we changing the rules because today it is Prez Mahama who is president? Is that the case? That's what I mean. Is that the case? But today it is because Mahama cannot do what Akufo-Addo did. Because Nana-Addo is special. Is that the case? Or we never knew today will come. I know President Mahama very well. He's a man I've worked with at very close end. He's a fair-minded person. So, when you be a oye ninyoma basa. Into Minsa Eka petition, no. Once not Nakachi, Ankasio, Mebu before. What's it say? Constitution is there. We need council of state Enya in Kusamu. That's also the constitution, you know. They decide with the command council of state. Only to the four. Don't cut their name yet. So, what is so beautiful that for a president to appreciate the limits under the constitution and say, said you. With the idea the command council of state for normal to the four by way of consultation. What is beautiful than this? That's why we know cases is here, Prez Mahama. We book Yema meeting that we book the four. That's why me. Yema me.
Lama.
Yema me get to talk on no. Prez Mahama we book the four. We book the four. Consequently, say. When you council of state, that is the only step that he has taken so far. Nothing more. Is that step provided for under the constitution?
Now, can be efa a jechum diano. Now,
that is it.
Now, can be a jechum diano. Now, want to me, Mama, you know, a CJ notice before say be of the council of state. I don't copy what I'm losing you. I never say. A in the case of a jechum diano. Now want to me notify the then CJ no before say it be a sad comma a mampenino.
Even a jechum, we didn't even get it because in a jechum the newspapers publish it, which prima facie undermines the secrecy of the process. And that is the matter ended. Now, that idea has come no by, so you say, Papa Dia friend no Justice Derry, or Supreme Court. And this is what Justice Benning said. Osei, the entire article 146 is devoted to proceedings leading to the removal of a superior court judge from office. That it must be read as a whole and not in isolated bits. The process begins with the receipt of a petition from the office on account of stated misbehavior, incompetence, or on grounds of inability to perform the functions of the office. What is it? From the moment the president accepts the petition, the process of impeachment has commenced. That's funny. Mm-hmm. That is it. Then Justice Benning proceeds. He says, and that process cannot be truncated.
Now, Bajo, a bedroom, a bread bang, and now what no assembly fan. A bedroom bebe no assembly fan who ya can be why your property at your channel.
And you can say, in the case of Charlotte Osei, or not sure commandment Penin and not the Danko Kufado, and I'm a deputy attorney general, Aya Godfred Yebuatame. And now I'm responding to no Mammy Charlotte Osei. I think some companies on year, on 5 copies of petition, a man, so which provisions of the Constitution say so. Not you. The Chief Justice has set in a committee now. You will have the opportunity to be heard at that place.
Oh, okay, okay.
2018. Less than 6 years ago. Is it the case of forgetfulness?
Mm-hmm.
So, for what the precedent that was set, you go before the 5-member committee. Then the 5-member committee will now decide on you. How come it? So at that committee, you go with your lawyer. Well, no lawyer at the court. Before Justice Benning committee, Justice Benning, Justice Mafosa, Justice Agnes Doji, Abrampa, any one other person. It was Tadio Sori who was the lawyer for Mrs. Charlotte Osei. They appeared. They cross-examined the petitioners. In fact, the petitioners, we didn't want a lawyer. Bruh. Hello, brother.
Me was supposed to say.
Who do you know the lawyer for the petitioners when the removal of Mame Charlotte Osei came up?
No. Me refika kra.
Who do you know?
Na me refika kra na enwan.
Lawyer Marshall Opoku.
Oh. They are now a rector or law school. No?
Fantastic. In fact, Emra Yemami Ebisa a copy of the petition, proud to the committee. Papa Marshall Opoku Ajiman. In fact, in the 2020 election, he was the chair of the NPP Constitutional and Legal Wing of the Manifesto. He responded to Madame Charlotte Osei, you getting a copy of the petition now will most likely compromise and put fear in the petitioner. Onuye omo lawyer for her, or Onuye omo lawyer. these were the concerns that he raised about punishing Madame Charlotte Osei, a copy of the petition before appearing before the committee set up by the speaker. What has changed? What has changed? What has changed? Mama should be you. What it's a Mama should be you. And look, like I said, President John Mahama, Maye Juma, Amano before, but you're fair-minded. You will ensure that every requirement of the 1992 Constitution would be applied strictly. Where in the Constitution, Bakwame, in the church say, proud to the petition being referred to the Council of State, Senio, proud to that, you must get the involvement of the respondent or the person against whom the petition has been made. The precedent that Akufo-Addo, lawyer Akufo-Addo, SFT and MSA, when all this thing is done, a committee will be set up. That committee, you can now go there with your lawyer and respond to the allegation. And you see, that committee, if a committee here, it is made up of the majority are judges, so that they will be fair. So it's an adjudication process. It's like a whole trial. But no lawyer for the bar, evidence should be taken, and at the end, the decision will be given. Now, have we gotten there? Have we gotten there? How soon have we forgotten the precedent that we all set? How soon? How soon have we forgotten? Has President Mahama done something outside the precedent Akufo-Addo has said? No! Or, let me ask my colleagues, lawyers, my friends in NPP. Has Mahama done something that Akufo-Addo didn't do? Or what Akufo-Addo did was bad? If it was bad, come out and say it. The Akufo-Addo, bad. The Mahama, the man, then we can have a reasonable conversation. And Akufo-Addo, the Akufo-Addo, the Mahama was also line by line. And you no longer trust the process that Akufo-Addo used. You see this life. Also, life is a school. Life is a school. So, President John Dramani Mahama will follow through with the Constitution. You apply the Constitution. You apply it to the letter. You know, President Mahama is a firm believer of the 1992 Constitution. He will not do anything to undermine the constitutional order. Never, ever, ever. No. Also, that because of the 1992 Constitution, so we may be undermining the Constitution. That the Constitution is a minna and a pa meda. In fact, when he was taking his oath of office on the 7th of January, he said, I shall bear true faith and allegiance to this Constitution. To this Constitution. And that Constitution is the 1992 Constitution. we would ensure that whatever the Constitution says will be followed religiously. The Bible I book of my Ghana. The 1992 Constitution.
Mate, no. What the mammy was not ready ever could see why.
Mate, once again, now a very long weekend.
Thank you.
And today being the last day, Yemiano Muslim phone, so the best of the Ramadan fast and the blessings that come to it. When we say many the last Friday in the month of Ramadan, and see a normal bonfire, the best someone also and more empire and President John Dramani Mahama and the able vice Professor Ginana Okofu Adima and the Ghana Maina.
Mamena was a as a lawyer Godwin Edudzi Tamakloe, a National Petroleum Authority boss. Okay, 101.7.
OKFM 101.7.